This should be illegal. Do you know why, Amore?
Why?
So many ingredients. We have so many ingredients. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, yellow 6. How you can sell this to your kids? How you can buy this for your kids? Why you buy this for your kids? And look, they are empty.
This is McDonald's French fries from the United States. It has 11 ingredients, but in the UK, there's only 4, and salt is optional. This one has an ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane, an ingredient that can be preserved, formaldehyde, a neurotoxin.
Have you ever compared foods between the United States and our European neighbors? It's a little disturbing. Brace yourselves.
5 differences between Europe and the US that completely blew my mind. Starting off with the exact same products and brands are reformulated, non-toxic versions for Europe, but not the US. The Americans are stuck with the crappy ingredients. Brands like Fanta, Heinz, Haribo, Skittles, Oreos, the list goes on. Beauty, skincare brands as well. L'Oreal, Maybelline, La Roche-Posay, so many more. You can look into it. Haribo, gummy bears.
I've been to multiple countries in Europe, and the food is so good that it actually ruined the food back here in Florida for me. Now, I'm not speaking for all of Europe, and I'm not speaking for all of the United States, but at least the 7 or so countries I have been to in the continent of Europe, the food has been so phenomenally good that when I come back here to Florida in the USA, the food tastes like styrofoam.
In the 80s, we had 700 approved ingredients in our food. Now we have 10,000. In Europe, it's still close to 700. Why in America do we have 10,000?
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Damilola again. And jejely, I was scrolling on my social media and all of a sudden something popped up. And I looked into it and realized this is something we all need to be aware of. This is something we need to look into. It's about what we put in our mouths, what we send into our bodies. Oh my goodness. I'm like, we're going to dive into this. We need to do the research. We need to know what this is about. We need to learn. So stay tuned. We're diving into this. Let's go.
This is large fries in America. This is large fries in England. Both from the same company, yet the portion sizes are absolutely astronomical in America compared to England. Looking at the ingredients of the American one, they put randomly beef powder in it. In England, there are 3 ingredients: potato, oil, and salt. In the American one, vegetable oil blend, dextrose, sodium acid pyrophosphate, and salt, and beef flavour. So what I don't understand...
When you hear anything dextrose, sucrose, any of the crose, they are all sugar. And now we're hearing how much chemicals are put in the American version. Why do we have all these chemicals in the American version? It's because we have something called dopamine receptors in our brain. In our brain, these dopamine receptors, when we feast on food, we want more. The dopamine receptors light up. And when they light up and they don't get enough of what you've gotten before, they want more. The more you feast on, the more the receptors, light up. But if you don't get enough, they're not going to sell. McDonald's knows exactly what they're doing. If you are not feeding those receptors, McDonald's would not make any sales if they're not feeding the receptors. That's why they had sugar, they had whatever the crap they had in it, just so those dopamine receptors keep lighting up whenever you eat them. And at least if you keep eating them, the dopamine receptors keep lighting up. It's just like addiction. We're addicted to all these chemicals, because the lesser the chemicals, the less the receptors light up, and you'll be like, oh, this is not tasty, this is nonsense. You spit it out, or you'll be like, I don't want to go there anymore. But when they put all this nonsense, the dopamine receptors light up and you're like, yeah, this is yummy, this is tasty. Well, that's what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section. I don't know.
And is how the same company is selling the exact same thing that are quite simplistic to make, it's just fries. They're adding so many complicated ingredients into the American one. UK one has 19 grams of fat. The American one has 24 grams. Carbs, the American one has 66 grams. British one has 60. UK one has 0 grams of sugar. US one has 1 gram of sugar randomly. I just don't understand how they can get away with putting in so much random things in the ingredient list. Why is there beef flavouring in a potato? And unless you actually look at the ingredients, you wouldn't know.
They're just not gonna make sales if they don't put all this crappy nonsense in it. They're not gonna sell. So they gotta put all this crappy nonsense in the snacks, in the fries, in all the foods, so they can make sales. Because we Americans, we love to eat, and we love to eat differently. So that's a problem.
Peanut M&Ms versus the UK peanut M&Ms. Which one do you think is going to be better? We're going to refresh our memory with the US peanut M&M because we haven't had this in ages.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, just like I remembered.
Yeah. Actually, I don't know. They taste different. They seem a bit bigger.
So yeah, they definitely seem bigger. So US, UK, bigger size.
I'm looking at the orange one because the orange color is completely different.
Oh wow.
That's the US.
And this is the UK orange. Look at that difference.
Look at the difference between the orange and the UK. Look at the difference between the orange from the US and the orange from the UK. You would notice that the orange from the UK is a little bit dull, and the orange from the US is a lot brighter. That's what we want. But that brightness comes from a lot of crappy chemicals. And the one from the UK, no, it's natural colors. I'm not saying the UK don't have their own kind of color, food color grades that they put in foods, like additives that they put in food. They do have theirs too, but not as intense as we do in the US. Not as intense as we do in the US.
Hey, orange. Look at that difference. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
UK. Wow, okay. Night and day difference. The American ones are, you can tell how chemical taste it is.
Yeah, you can taste the peanut a lot more in the UK one.
Which I like that a lot.
But it also gives me a...
So please note, she is eating the US M&Ms. He is eating the UK M&Ms. And she just let us know that there's a lot of chemical taste in the US M&M. Take note of that. And he's saying there's a lot of natural taste of peanuts in the UK M&M.
Little. I taste a little bit of coffee, almost.
I don't drink coffee, so I don't know how to compare that together, but...
I think it's just a roasted peanut.
The chocolate and the American one, you can definitely taste a lot more chemical.
Yeah, they don't taste like what they used to, in my opinion.
The American ones do, from what I remember, do taste different. They taste worse. Especially compared to the UK.
The peanut tastes the same. Once you get the peanut just like by itself, it tastes the same. Like,
yeah. It's definitely the chocolate.
Yeah.
Hands down, the UK wins this one for sure. Absolutely. Completely different. Size, color.
Flavor.
Oh.
Look at another color. Let's look at the color again.
Oh, even the blue, because this is the UK blue and this is the US blue.
Even they couldn't even get the blue right in the US. They couldn't get the blue right in the US. Okay, based on this chocolate, she just talked about chocolate. When I first came into America, I had my first Hershey's chocolate. I've never had Hershey's in my entire life, and I had my very first Hershey's chocolate. My tongue has never tasted Hershey's before, and I tasted the first one for the first time in my entire life. And it tasted like chemical in my mouth. I couldn't finish that Hershey's. I was like, well, it tastes sweet, but there was an after kind of petroleum taste in my mouth. I'm like, no, I think I'm done with this. We know Cadbury. We know Cadbury in my country. We know Cadbury. But Hershey's, I was like, what is this? It was so crappy in my mouth. I'm like, no way. But I tasted it now recently. It tastes really good. Like, you know, I've been eating it. I've been here for a while and I've been eating it and it tastes like really good. I think I'm part of the problem. We need to fix our taste bugs. My taste bugs are acclimatized with the nonsense, I guess.
Yeah.
Interesting.
US is finally getting rid of those dyes, hopefully.
Hopefully. I don't know why it took us so long to compare the peanut M&Ms, but these are really good.
In the 80s, we had 700 approved ingredients in our food. Now we have 10,000. In Europe, it's still close to 700. Why in America do we have 10,000? One set of ingredients for Americans in the same factory and a different set of ingredients for Canadians, whether it's Fruit Loops or whatever it is, but that's one component of the issue.
When a piece of lettuce makes me cry because of how quality it is, I think there is something. I've been to multiple countries in Europe, and the food is so good that it actually ruined the food back here in Florida for me. Now, I'm not speaking for all of Europe, and I'm not speaking for all of the United States, but at least these 7 or so countries I have been to in the continent of Europe, the food has been so phenomenally good that when I come back here to Florida in the USA, the food tastes like styrofoam. I'm sure you could find good food in the States, just like I'm sure you can find bad food somewhere in the entire continent of Europe. But here's the thing, when a piece of lettuce makes me cry because of how quality it is, I think there is something to do with the ingredients.
That's right. There's a lot to do with the ingredients. There's a whole lot of chemicals in the ingredients. There's a whole lot of pesticides in the ingredients just to make them look aesthetically beautiful. They're aesthetically beautiful because that's what we want. We want to see it beautiful. We don't want to ever see it looking ugly. And when these chemicals are added and all this synthetic nonsense are put in there, they're going to look beautiful, but they're not good for our gut biome. They're not good for our gut biome at all. It is experiencing a lifetime experience. This is a once in a lifetime experience, except maybe he goes back and, spends more time in Europe. But if he's coming back to the US, hey, he has to get acclimatized again with all that nonsense we eat. And that's not his fault. But this is a good experience for him.
It's really hard to explain this to people if they have never been to the other continent. I can't get through to my American friends that just the quality of food is so much better in Portugal, just like explaining to someone who's never left Portugal and been to the States how, not good the quality of food can be here. You truly have to taste it to believe it. And no, it doesn't have to be expensive. Even some of the fast food restaurants that we have here back home, I went to some in Portugal, looked at my partner across the table and said, oh my gosh, this is the best version of this I have ever eaten. I can find a €2.50 bifana in Portugal that is miles ahead of the Cuban sandwich that I'll pay $17 for here in Florida. Not to mention it's delicious and my stomach doesn't hurt like it does here every day.
And have you been able to notice that some of these foods, they taste the same here in the US? Like they all taste the same. I don't know, maybe it's me. When I go to restaurants, I go to all these fast food joints, they all taste the same. The chicken, the sandwich, the burgers, they all taste the same. I don't know, maybe it's me. Please, if you think different, let me know in the comment section. Please, please, please put it down in the comment section. Your opinion is always valid. My opinion is my opinion. It might be right, it might be wrong. Your opinion is also very important. So please put it in the comment section. I need to learn because I don't understand. Maybe it's my taste bug. Maybe there's something wrong with my taste bugs. But please help me out. They all taste the same. I don't know. Maybe it's me. But please let me know in the comment section what you think. We can create a conversation over this. Please. Thank you.
I totally get if you don't like the cuisine of a country, but you can't argue with the quality of the ingredients.
The real reason you feel so much better eating carbs in Europe versus the US is not just because you're walking more. The way these carbs are produced are completely different from a basic farming level. The US allows 30 parts per million of glyphosate residue on wheat, while the EU allows just a third of that. In the US, pre-harvest desiccation remains common practice while the EU bans this.
Just a thought of that. A thought of oh my goodness.
And it's not just the farming, it's also how they're processed. The US pushes industrial carbs through 1 to 2 hour processing with added gluten, sugar, and conditioners, while the EU uses long fermented 12 to 48 hours, which reduces gut irritation.
More time to ferment. But we ferment ours for 2 hours with added sugar and all sort of nonsense. This is a whole lot to digest. Even in the guts, even in my brain, just thinking of it. There's a lot of nonsense we're munching on. This is crazy.
You can also see this difference pretty quickly when you buy a grocery store bread in the US, and it can take sometimes months to go bad, while in Europe this is days to just weeks. It's not a mystery that you...
Yes, that's right. Bread would not last for more than 3 days. Back in the days when I was a little younger, we would buy bread, and in 2 days, in fact, the next day, the bread is already really stiffened. It's stiffened, it's hard, and it's not something you want to consume anymore. You're like, oh, this is yesterday's bread. But now you have bread that lasts for 6 months and they don't go bad. So what are we eating exactly? What are we eating? Are we eating bread or we're eating chemicals?
Feel better in the system where the carbs are less processed, more fermented, and don't have all these crazy additives, especially the things you can't see on an ingredient label in the US, like the high glyphosate usage. And while we can't control things like drift, we can buy from
This is McDonald's French fries from the United States. It has 11 ingredients, but in the UK, there's only 4, and salt is optional. This one has an ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane, an ingredient that can be preserved formaldehyde, a neurotoxin. This is United States Fanta right here. It's made with high fructose corn syrup, artificial dye, yellow 6, red 40, and sodium benzenate. In the
High fructose corn syrup is sugar. It's the worst part of sugar. The worst type of sugar. So don't get fooled when you hear that word. It's not what you think. It is sugar. It's made from corn, but it is sugar. Worse than sugar.
UK, they have real orange juice inside, and it's colored with carrots and pumpkin.
Real orange juice with carrots and pumpkins. How can we beat that in America? That's natural. There is carrot, there is pumpkin, and there is real orange juice in Fanta. Oh my goodness. That's real natural stuff.
In Skittles, there's 10 different artificial dyes here in the United States, plus titanium dioxide, an ingredient that's banned in Europe because it's DNA damage. Gatorade, here in the United States, uses red 40 and caramel color.
5 differences between Europe and the US that completely blew my mind. Starting off with the exact same products and brands are reformulated non-toxic versions for Europe, but not the US. The Americans are stuck with the crappy ingredients. Brands like Fanta, Heinz, Haribo, Skittles, Oreos, the list goes on. Beauty, skincare brands as well. L'Oreal, Maybelline, La Roche-Posay, so many more. You can look into it. Haribo gummy bears are packed with artificial petroleum dyes in the US, when in Europe, they only use natural colors from things like fruits or vegetables. So if companies can make...
Did you remember me just saying now that I tasted petroleum? I tasted petroleum in Hershey's. Did you just hear that? Haribo had petroleum in it. So all these things are just toxic. Now she's talking about skincare products. She's talking about the snacks we eat, the food we eat. All these things are just toxic. They're toxic.
Cleaner, non-toxic products for different markets. Why are Americans still using the bad ingredients? Number 2 is chlorine washed chicken. If you didn't know, in the US, the chicken is dunked in a chlorine bath where it absorbs bleach water. Basically because the farms are so dirty that after they slaughter the chicken, that's what they do to clean it up. But Europe said, let's have a cleaner farming standard. Let's not do that, and let's not bleach our chicken afterwards. That's why your chicken has 5% retained water, and it's usually chlorine bath. Number 3 is even organic in the US means something completely different than it does in Europe. A lot of Americans think organic means pesticide free, and that's just not the case in the US. So 2 products can say organic while following 2 completely different rule books depending on if you live in Europe or the US. Number 4, Europe bans thousands of toxic chemicals from your everyday beauty, skincare, body products, while the US only bans 11. So many products that you're probably using every single day that are packed with endocrine disruptors, preservatives, things that are just messing up your hormones that Europe would never allow. Number 5, we have dairy. Dairy in Europe has banned artificial growth hormones for decades, while the US is still using it every single day in all of our conventional dairy. Your sour cream.
This is so scary. All the things that are banned in the rest of the world or in the UK, we're still using them here. And she talked about one of the products that causes hormonal dysfunctions, hormonal problems. There's a whole lot of issues in America. There's a whole lot of health problems in America. And I'm sure a lot of people are going through a lot of problems, but they have no idea where these problems are coming from. They have no idea they're coming from food. They're coming from all these pesticides that are in the food and all these toxic chemicals that are in our skincare products. This is a lot to digest. Honestly, we need to learn about these things. This is crazy. This is mind-blowing. This is just something that not an average American does not understand. I didn't understand. I'm just learning this thing. This is just so crazy. Why is this happening? Why can't they fix this? Why are all these toxic chemicals allowed in our products, especially in our food?
Your milk, your ice cream is used with conventional dairy that's pumped with hormones. I have no idea what it's doing to our own hormones. So that's why I always look for regenerative, organic whenever I can.
America, this should be illegal. Do you know why, Amore?
Why?
So many ingredients. We have so many ingredients. Red 40, yellow 5, blue 1, yellow 6. How you can sell this to your kids? How you can buy this for your kids? Why you buy this for your kids?
But these colors he's talking about, these colors are also in the UK. They're in Europe as well, in different names. They come under a different name. I can always look for those names and put it up here. They come in different names too. So all this blue yellow dye, this red 40 and all those names, they're also real in the UK, but not in all. They're regulated. They're well regulated over there than they're regulated here in the US. So that's also something to look at. So if you see those names, like those, if you see they are substituted names for them on the market, in the UK market, they have substituted names. So it's not just in the US. You have those color dyes, food dyes. They are also color grade food dyes in the UK too.
Hey, look, they are empty.
What else are we supposed to use to color things, Amore?
In Europe, they're using vegetables, like they use carrots, they use thing. Look this difference between Germany and United States.
Oh my goodness! Look at the ingredients. Yes, that's true. They use a lot of vegetables in Europe. They use a lot of vegetables to make their colors, but also they have these dyes. So they also have the dyes. That's all I have to say. They have the dyes. They have the color dyes, the food dyes too. But most of the time, they are regulated and they use mostly real fruits to make this colors. So look at the difference. That's crazy. Look at the difference. It's crazy.
How different it is. And I don't know Italy. I don't think we have this crap in Italy.
Have you ever compared foods between the United States and our European neighbors? It's a little disturbing. Brace yourselves.
Okay, look at the colors. It says artificial color, red 40, blue 1, yellow 5. And the only color you'd find in the UK version is color Anato. And that's it. I don't know what that is, but it's color Anato. And that's it. That's all you'll find in it. Look at that! Cheesy pasta. Just mac and cheese. Look at the mac and cheese we're feeding our kids. Look at how much ingredients we have in the mac and cheese we're feeding our kids. And look at what they have for UK. Oh no.
The question is, why is that happening?
So there's 3 foods that are completely different in Europe than they're here. First, bread. American bread has 15 ingredients or more. European bread has 4. Flour, water.
15 ingredients. And Europe bread has only 4. US has 15 ingredients and Europe has only 4, which is flour, water, yeast, and salt. That's it. But wait, if you bring that kind of bread to the US, it's gonna taste like bleh. Why would you have just flour, water, yeast, and salt in your food? Nobody wants to eat that. The dopamine receptors would not say thank you for that. They're not going to be excited about it. But that's it. It is what it is now.
Eastern salt. That's it. Some American bread contains EDA, the same chemical that is used to make yoga mats. Europe banned it. US didn't. Second, coffee. So Europe has strict limits on mold in coffee. The US has almost none. So when coffee fails European standards, guess where it ends up? Exactly, right back in the US. Third, cereal. Same brand, same box. So the American version has BHT. It's a preservative also used in jet fuel. Europe restricts it.
BHT, used in jet fuel.
Same company takes it out from the European version, but they chose not to here. So they're actually keeping this in the US cereal, which is crazy to think about it. You know, a lot of the kids are actually eating this cereal every morning.
My goodness, this is a whole lot to take in. This is crazy. So we're eating a lot of crap in America. That's just the point. That's the point here. We're eating a lot of crap in America. And this is crazy. These are things that have been banned in the US. And I've been hearing a lot of chemicals, especially chemicals that are used in petroleum. We're eating petroleum in America. And now we'll talk about people having sicknesses, people having high blood pressure, having heart problems, having metabolic problems, having gut issues. Where do you think all these illnesses come from? They come from all this nonsense that we're putting in our guts. Our guts get irritated by all this nonsense that we're feasting on. Oh my goodness, this is something we really need to be aware of. This is an awareness check. This is something we all need to be aware of. This is crazy. And the consumerism in America is increasingly high. Every year, it's getting higher and higher and higher. The consumerism is getting higher. Everybody wants more of everything. This is the problem. This is why Americans get more of these chemicals added in our food than the Europeans. They're not getting all this nonsense added in their food because they're not interested in having more. Just like I talked about the dopamine receptors in our brain, they want more. It's just like you eat a cookie now and that cookie tastes good, but you want more of that cookie because your brain already got the receptors high. They're like, woo, they light up. They're excited. But now that cookie is no longer enough. You want another one. This is just like being an addict. We're addicted to these chemicals. Without these chemicals, our food will not taste good. We would not enjoy our food. Just look at that. Bread, water, salt, yeast, and what else? Salt. Salt, water, yeast, and flour. Even I don't think I'll eat that kind of bread. But to be honest, this is that bread would definitely not taste. You know what I'm saying? We know what we're talking about. But honestly, this is something we need to be aware of in our food, especially the food we feed our kids. We're talking about kids having behavioral problems. These behavioral problems come from all these chemicals that our children are feasting on. They have no, because we nowadays there are so many ready to go foods like cereals and like all these ready pizzas or all these ready made foods that we just feed our kids, chicken nuggets and blah blah blah. We've heard one time that there are rubber that there's rubber they found rubber in chicken nuggets, rubber material in chicken nuggets. All these things are going into our kids' gut biome, irritating them, and now they feel irritated with everything we do as parents, and we're like, oh, my kids, my child hates me. Your child does not hate you. It's all these chemicals. There's a lot of chemicals in their system, and they're babies, they're young, their body these are aliens to their system. These chemicals are foreigners to their system. Their brain does not understand all these chemicals. That's why they are reacting. And then trust me, when they get to their teenage stage, it's going to be worse. If you're still feeding them with all that junk, teenage stage is going to be worse because now they're having hormonal issues. And these hormonal issues, you're now adding more hormonal problem because you're bringing in more hormones. They're using hormones in our milk. Now you're adding more hormonal problems. Oh my goodness, where do we go? How do we solve this? What do we do? This is crazy. This is something we need to be aware of. We all talk about being holistic, but it's difficult. Things are expensive. To be holistic, you have to pay more. To be holistic, to eat a lot of natural stuff, you have to pay more. It's more expensive to buy organic. So where do we go from here? What do we do? Please help me in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are, because this is crazy. This is America today. Where do we go from here? How do we survive? How do we survive all of this chemical attack to our bodies? This is crazy. Help me in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are about all these chemicals that are being added to our food and are banned in all these other parts of the world. It scares me, seriously, because our children are feasting on these things. Even in schools, they're serving them these meals at school, because that's the only way they can actually reach all the kids. I think they've been switching it a little bit. There was a time I saw them feed the kids green apples on the kids' plates, and I'm like, okay, green apple is nice, but still the coating on that green apple is not good for you. It's not good for any of us. All these chemicals are still there. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. This is too much. This is a lot of information to digest, and we need help. We need to find ways to get rid of all these chemicals. Going holistic is expensive. Trying to buy natural organic food is expensive. Not a lot of Americans can afford it. And if you notice, you'd see that a lot of these foods are really cheap and affordable, but they're killing us. So please let me know what you think in the comment section. Your opinion is your opinion. My opinion is my opinion. Every opinion is valid on this channel. Thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Do have a blessed time. Bye-bye.